Okay, hello everyone. In this lecture, we have to discuss about macronutrients and micronutrients. Okay, and their role in the plant growth and development. Okay, so these are the learning objective of the today lecture. That we have to understand about what are the macronutrients and what are the micronutrients and what are the various macro and micronutrients, okay, and what are the difference between the macronutrients and micronutrients, okay, and what are the function of macronutrients and micronutrients, and what are the deficiency symptoms of macro and micronutrients, okay. So uh, So, first of all, we need to know about that plant needs nutrients for the same reason that animal need them. Okay, because for the growth, for the development, for the reproduction, for the energy requirement. Okay, for the all the other physiological function, the plants need nutrients. Okay, and they need them to germinate and grow and fight off disease and pest control and to reproduce. Okay, so all these function require micro and macronutrients. Okay, so that the plant can be able to grow without any infectious disease. Okay, and like animals, nutrients are needed in larger, smaller and less amounts. Okay, so in the same way, plant also needs need some nutrients in the higher quantity and some nutrients in a smaller quantity or less quantity. Okay. So, first of all, we have to discuss about what are the difference between macronutrients and micronutrients. Okay. So, as the name suggests, macro and micro. Okay. So, the nutrients which require in higher quantity. Okay. Termed as macronutrient, and the nutrient which require only in trace amount. Okay. Called micronutrient, and macronutrients are required by the plant in relatively large amount. Okay, like more than 1 milligram per gram dry weight of the plant. So at that time, the term used for that nutrient is macronutrient. If they require more than 1 milligram per gram dry weight of the plant, and micronutrients are required only in small amount, that is in trace amount which require less than 1 milligram per gram dry weight. Okay, so this is the criteria. If a certain nutrient require in more than 1 milligram per gram dry weight of the plant, then it termed as or named as macronutrient. If it is required in a small quantity, that is less than 1 milligram per gram dry weight, then it named as micro or trace element. Okay. So first of all, we have to discuss about name of macronutrients. Okay, and macronutrients classify into three categories on the basis of their primary requirement and their nature. So, first of all, there are two broad categories. First is non-mineral elements, and second is uh, mineral elements. Okay, so this is the two broad category. Okay, and again, mineral elements divide into two category: primary nutrients and secondary nutrients. Okay, so on the basis of their requirement. Okay, so these primary nutrients are required in the higher concentration or higher quantity. Okay, so that's why this is comes under the primary nutrients. or the second nutrients which require less quantity as compared to the primary nutrients. Okay, so this is the secondary nutrients. Okay, and the first category is non mineral element. Okay, so non mineral element are carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. Okay, because these are not mineral. Okay, but require in higher quantity. Okay, so these are the CHO, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. Okay, and second one is primary nutrients. Okay, so the primary nutrients are NPK. Okay, this is very essential for plant growth and development. NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. Okay, and the second nutrients are calcium, magnesium, sulfur. Okay, calcium, magnesium, sulfur, CaMgS. Okay, so this is the chart which we need to remember. This is classification of macronutrients. Okay, so first we have to classify into the two broad category: non-mineral element and mineral element. Okay, non-mineral element CHO, and mineral element again divided into two category: primary and secondary. Okay, so primary include NPK, and secondary included calcium, magnesium, sulfur. Okay, it is clear. Now, what are the micronutrients? Okay, so these are the micronutrients because these mineral required in the small quantity. Okay, very small quantity, less than 1 milligram per gram dry weight of the plant. Okay, so these are iron, Fe, copper, Cu, zinc, Zn, boron, B, molybdenum, Mo, manganese, Mn, chlorine, Cl. Okay, so these all are micronutrients. So now, now we have to discuss about function of these macro and micronutrients one by one. Okay, so first is what are the function of nitrogen? So nitrogen required for growth of leaves and stem. Okay, it means without nitrogen, the leaves are not properly grow, the stem length not properly grow. Okay, and nitrogen give dark green color to the plant. Okay, the color which we have to observe of the plant is green. Okay, so this color provided by the nitrogen and improve quality of foliage. Okay, so it also improve the quality of foliage. Okay, foliage means there are many leaves plant have. Okay, so it is a good foliage. Okay, so you have to see that some plant have very good foliage and a large number of leaves and large number of area covered by the plant or tree, or some plant is do not have large number of leaves, so they did not have a large foliage, they did not have large number of leaves. Okay, so this is due to the nitrogen deficiency, or nitrogen if present in sufficient quantity, the leaves are a green in color and have good quality of foliage. And nitrogen necessary to develop cell protein and chlorophyll. Okay, you know that the nitrogen is the main component of proteins. Okay, because protein made up of amino acid, and amino acid have amine group in their structure, or this amine group require nitrogen element. Okay, and chlorophyll also require nitrogen, and nitrogen is necessary to create amino acid which in turn make proteins. Okay, and nitrogen is thought it make up most of the air. Okay, so nitrogen generally you know that present nitrogen into present in the atmospheric air. Okay, so most of the nitrogen comes from the atmosphere, because there are some bacteria which can able to fix this nitrogen. Okay, and when the nitrogen fixed by these nitrogen fixing bacteria, okay, nitrosomonas, nitrobacter, and there are some many other bacteria which can able to fix nitrogen, and there are some bacteria which present in the root nodule of the plant. Okay, there are some leguminous plant which have a, root nodule. Okay, so due to which it can able to absorb atmospheric nitrogen and convert into the inorganic form. Okay, so you know that plant can absorb only inorganic form of the nitrogen. Okay, so when it convert into the nitrates plant can able to absorb. Okay, and however, plant food formula often have a percentage of nitrogen in a form that the plant can use. Okay, so this is also that when we provide the nitrogen in the form of fertilizer, it also has a sufficient quantity of nitrogen present in this formula of fertilizer which we have to provide to the plants. Okay, so these all are the function of nitrogen. Now, what are the material that could provide nitrogen to the plants? Okay, so there are many material that supply nitrogen, or okay, or there are many material which present in the fertilizer which fulfill the requirement of nitrogen to the plant. Okay, so first of all, anhydrous ammonia. Okay, it contain 82% nitrogen. Okay, and the second is urea. Okay, this urea is currently very much useful in the agriculture field. Okay, because it can easily provide the nitrogen to the plant. Okay, and it has a 45 to 46% nitrogen in them. Okay, so other than urea, there are other material also provide or act as a nitrogen source to the plant, or the material which can be used for the nitrogen fertilizer to the plant. Okay, so these are ammonium nitrate, aqua ammonia, ammonium sulfate, and diammonium phosphate, and ammonium phosphate sulfate, polyphosphate, sodium nitrate, potassium nitrate, and urea formaldehyde, and sulfur coated urea, urea ammonium nitrate, organic product like animal manure, sewage sludge, okay, meat meal, cottonseed meal, fish meal. Okay, so all these are the source of nitrogen. Okay, which can provide the nitrogen to the plant. Okay, and fulfill the requirement of nitrogen for the plant. Okay, so and what are the symptoms of nitrogen deficiency? Okay, if there is a plant did not get sufficient quantity of nitrogen, so what are the effect of the nitrogen deficiency? Okay, so the these are the effect of nitrogen deficiency. Okay, so first of all, the sick yellow green color leaves if there is a nitrogen deficiency. Okay, if there is a green color or dark green color leaves is there, it means there is no nitrogen deficiency. But if a yellow green color or sick type leaves is there, so this is due to the nitrogen deficiency. And short stem, small leaves, pale colored leaves, and flowers, okay, this is due to the nitrogen deficiency. And slow plant growth, and dwarf plant growth, so this is all the symptoms of nitrogen deficiency. Okay, so these are the visible symptoms we can easily identify if plant have deficiency in nitrogen. Okay, now the second macronutrient is phosphorus. Okay, so these are the function of phosphorus. So phosphorus stimulates early formation and growth of root. Okay, so it required for the root growth in the plant. Okay, and it provides for fast and vigorous growth and speeds maturity. Okay, and it stimulates flowering and seed development. Okay, so without phosphorus, there is no sufficient flowering is there, and there is seed development is also affected if there is a deficiency of phosphorus. Okay, and phosphorus also necessary for the enzyme action of many plant processes. Okay, because you know that phosphorus is a part of coenzyme. It is a part of cofactor. Okay, it is a part of prosthetic group. Okay, and without these non-protein component of the enzyme, the non-protein component of enzyme, the enzyme cannot be able to act. Okay, so that's why the phosphorus is very essential for the plant growth and development. Okay, because it maintains the physiology and metabolism of the plants. And in addition to phosphorus is needed to help seed germination and for the growth of root, and this support of the root system is especially necessary for young plant and root vegetation, such as carrot and beets. Okay, and the carrot and beets size is depend on the supply of the phosphorus. Okay, if there is plenty of supply of phosphorus, the carrot and beet root can grow well, and the element is needed to make DNA, RNA, phospholipid, and ATP, okay, adenosine triphosphate, which carries energy to the plant cell and is needed for the photosynthesis. Okay, so that's why it is very essential component. Okay, it is a part of the DNA, it is a part of the RNA, and it also part of the phospholipid, which is a major component of the plasma membrane. Okay, and it is a part of the ATP, which is a molecule which can provide the energy for all the work that carried out by the plant. And DNA contain the plant genetic code. Okay, and RNA carries instruction from the DNA from one part of the cell to another, and this is possible only after if there is plenty of supply of the phosphorus is there. And phospholipid, you know, that are the lipid or fat that help make up to the cell membrane. Okay, and they are made up of fatty acid and bilayer of fatty acids or lipid. Okay, and fatty acid have a glycerol unit and a polar molecule and a phosphate group. Okay, so that's why it is very essential component for the plant growth and overall growth and development of the plant. Okay. Now, what are the materials that supply the phosphorus to the plant? Okay, so these are the materials. Okay, so first is super phosphoric acid. Okay, SPA. Okay, this is the source of phosphorus by which the plant can able to absorb phosphorus. And superphosphate and concentrated superphosphate or triple superphosphate and monoammonium phosphate and diammonium phosphate and ammonium polyphosphate and nitric phosphate. Okay, there are many sources of nutrients that can able to provide either nitrogen, either phosphorus, either potassium. Okay, so that's why the single source can able to provide the more than one types of macronutrients. Okay, if it has these element in their structure. Okay, and what are the deficiency symptoms of phosphorus? So, deficiency symptoms are decrease in plant growth. Okay, so it has been observed that most of the plant growth affected if there is a deficiency of the phosphorus, and slow maturity. Okay, so it affects the maturity time of the plant. Right? Okay, and it means the plant cannot full matured at a particular span of time, and older leaves are purplish color if there is deficiency of phosphorus. Okay, so by these symptoms we can identify the phosphorus deficiency in the plant. Sorry. Now the third macronutrients are potassium. And what are the function of potassium? So potassium used to form carbohydrates and proteins. Okay, because it is a component of carbohydrate and proteins. Okay, and formation and transfer of starch carried out in the presence of potassium. Okay, and sugar and oil transport can be carried in the presence of potassium, because potassium can able to maintain the osmotic potential of the cell in the plant. and increase disease resistance and vigor and hardiness of the plant. And potassium is necessary for the creation of flower and fruits. And potassium is also impart disease resistance into the plant. It control how water is taken up in the root and how it is discharged through the leaves by the process of transpiration. And nitrogen is needed in the plant respiration and photosynthesis along with the potassium. Okay, so that's why potassium is a very essential component for the plant. And what are the materials that supply the potassium? Okay, so these are the material which are used as a potassium fertilizer. These are muriate of potash and sulfate of potash and potassium magnesium sulfate and potassium nitrate. Okay, so these all are the material that used as a potassium fertilizer, okay, which can provide the potassium for the plant. Okay, now what are the symptoms if there is a deficiency of potassium in plants? So these are the deficiency symptoms. First, mottled, spotted, streaked, or curled leaves. Okay, so if any of these symptoms are found in the plant, so definitely it is due to the deficiency of potassium. Okay, and scorched, burned, dead leaves tips and margin of the leaves. It has been shown that there is a deficiency of potassium is there. Okay, so we can easily identify the potassium deficiency by the use of these physical identified symptoms. And the next nutrient is calcium. Okay, so calcium require and improve plant vigor so that it can absorb more and more nutrients for their growth and development. And calcium influence intake and synthesis of other plant nutrients. Okay, because there are some nutrients which can plant synthesize their own. Okay, and these nutrients can be synthesized in the presence of calcium. Okay, and the calcium important part of the cell wall. Okay, and calcium helps other nutrients to get into the plant and helps enzymic reactions. Okay, because for the many reactions calcium act as a cofactor. Okay, so that they can catalyze the uh, biochemical reaction that present in the biochemical pathway. Okay, and calcium pectinate helps bond the plant cell wall together. Okay, because it is a component of the cell wall and it's the same substance that goes into the making gems and jelly. Okay, so these all are the function of calcium. Now, what are the deficiency symptoms of calcium? So, the deficiency symptoms of calcium are there is small developing leaves is there. The size of leaves is small as compared to the normal plant. So, we can identify if there is size of leaves affected. This is definitely due to the deficiency of calcium. And wrinkled older leaves. Okay, so in case of calcium deficiency, the leaves become wrinkled before early age the mature leaves or normal leaves. Okay, and sometimes the dead stems tips also been observed in case of deficiency of the calcium. Okay, so these all are the deficiency symptoms of the calcium. Okay, because all the nutrients required for the proper growth and development and carried all the physiological function in the plant. That's why all the nutrients are very essential. And now the next nutrients is magnesium. Okay, and for what are the function of magnesium? So magnesium influences the intake of other essential nutrients. Okay, and it helps make fats or lipids. Okay, and assist in the translocation of phosphorus and fats into the plants. And magnesium is responsible for healthy leaves and chlorophyll, because magnesium is the part of chlorophyll molecules, and the green pigment that is important in the photosynthesis. Okay, if there is a deficiency of magnesium, there is a deficiency of chlorophyll. Ultimately, it affect the photosynthesis process. Okay, and it also help to create ATP, and like calcium pectinate help glue the cell wall to each other and provide the strength to the plant. Okay, so these are the function of magnesium. And now, what are the deficiency symptoms of magnesium? So these are the deficiency symptoms of magnesium, and it include intervenous chlorosis. Okay, because leaves has a veins. Okay, if there is degradation in veins is observed due to the intervenous chlorosis. Okay, it leads to the yellowing of leaves between green veins. Okay, so this is the major symptoms of the magnesium deficiency, which can be identified by the visually, and leaf tips curl or cup upward. Okay, due to the magnesium deficiency, and cylinder and a weak stalk is there if there is a deficiency of magnesium, and the leaves are fall down before their age. And the next nutrients are sulfur. Okay, and what are the function of sulfur? So sulfur promotes root growth and vigorous vegetative growth. Okay, and it require for protein formation. Okay, because there are some proteins which has sulfur containing amino acid, and these sulfur containing amino acid and synthesis of these sulfur containing amino acids require element sulfur. Okay, so that's why it is essential to protein formation, because protein require both essential and non-essential amino acid. Okay, so that it also require the sulfur containing amino acid. Okay, because if there is a single amino acid missing, uh, so there is not possible that protein are synthesized into the plants. Okay, so all amino acid is required for the plant protein formation. And what are the symptoms of deficiency of sulfur? So sulfur deficiency affect that young leaves are light green color with lighter color veins. Okay, young leaves particularly, and yellow leaves and stunted growth has been observed due to the sulfur deficiency growth. So it shows that the growth of plant also observed if there is a sulfur deficiency occur. And the next nutrients is iron. And what are the function of iron? So iron is essential for chlorophyll production. Okay, so for the normal production of chlorophyll, iron is required in adequate quantity, and it helps carry electrons to mix oxygen with other element, and iron goes into cytochromes which are necessary for plant transpiration. Okay, that's why it is very essential component for the plant. Okay, because it helps in the plant transpiration indirectly. Okay, and what are the deficiency symptoms of iron? So in case of deficiency, the molted and intervenal chlorosis has been observed in young leaves, and in addition to stunted growth and slender and short stems has been observed due to the deficiency of iron. Okay, the next nutrients is copper. Okay, so what are the function of copper? So copper helps in the use of iron. Okay, and it helps in respiration. Okay, and photo respiration. Okay, so because you know that plant carried two types of process. The first is photosynthesis and second is photorespiration. Okay, so by the process of photorespiration, it fulfill the requirement of energy to the other purpose. And copper is also important in the photosynthesis and the reaction of the enzymes, because copper is a cofactor for many enzymes. And what are the deficiency symptoms of copper? So young leaves are small if there is a deficiency of copper, and permanently wilting has been observed. Okay, wilting means the leaves become wilt. Okay, and multiple buds at stem tips. Okay, so these are the deficiency symptoms of copper. Now the next nutrient is zinc. Okay, and we need to know about the each in nutrients for their function and their deficiency. Okay, so zinc required for normal plant metabolism. Okay, why metabolism? Because it also act as a cofactor for many reactions. Like in the glycolysis, many enzymes require zinc. Okay, magnesium and copper, and it helps form growth hormones. Okay, so that's why it is very essential component for the plant. Okay, because without growth hormone, the plant cannot be grow properly, and it also helps in the reproduction. And zinc activates enzymes. Okay, and allow the reading of the plant genetic code during the translation. And deficiency symptoms are retarded growth between nodes. Okay, this is called roseted. Okay, so roseted growth has been observed due to the deficiency of zinc. Okay, because it affect the growth hormones. Okay, and due to the deficiency of growth hormone, the retarded growth has been observed. Okay, and new leaves are thick and small. Okay, and spotted between veins and discolored veins. Okay, so these all are the symptoms of zinc. Now boron. So first of all, what are the function of boron? So boron affect water absorption by roots, and it also required for translocation of sugar. Okay, because during the photosynthesis, the sugar or carbohydrate are formed into the mesophyll cells. Okay, and this required to translocate to all part of the all cells of the plants. Okay, so this boron helps you to translocate sugar that produced during the photosynthesis, and this trace mineral is necessary for flowering as well as cell formation. Okay, and what are the deficiency or symptoms of boron? So it has been observed that due to deficiency of boron, there is short, thick stem tips, and young leaves of terminal buds are light green at base, and leaves become twisted and dies. Okay, so these all are the deficiency symptoms due to the boron deficiency. And the next is manganese. Okay, so first of all, what are the function of manganese? Okay, so manganese again required for the plant metabolism, because it acts as a cofactor for many enzymes, and it required for nitrogen transformation. Okay, and manganese mineral helps form chlorophyll as well as enzymes, and it also helps to make chloroplast into the leaves, and the tiny bodies found only in the plant cell that make food and contain the molecule of chlorophyll. Okay, these are the chloroplast which can be developed in the presence of manganese. Okay, that's why manganese, in addition to manganese, is also important in the plant respiration, that is photorespiration. And what are the deficiency symptoms of manganese? So the deficiency symptoms of manganese are intervenal chlorosis. Okay, there is degradation of leaves along veins, and young leaves die due to deficiency of manganese. And the next is molybdenum. Okay, so molybdenum required for normal plant development, and it also help in the reproduction. And molybdenum mineral goes into the creating enzymes as well as amino acid. Okay, there are some enzymes require in presence of the molybdenum. Okay, and some biosynthesis of amino acid, or you say that the non-essential amino acid require molybdenum. Okay, and what are the deficiency symptoms of molybdenum? So, in case of deficiency of molybdenum, the stunted growth has been observed into the plants. And in addition to yellow leaves, upward curling leaves, and leaf margin burning has been observed due to the deficiency of molybdenum. Okay. Now the last one is chlorine. Okay, so chlorine also required for the various plant processes. Okay, and it act as enzyme system. Okay, so there are some enzyme which use chlorine uh, as a cofactor. Okay, so that's why it is also essential component or trace element for the plant growth and development. And there are some deficiency symptoms is also there. Usually the more problem with too much chlorine or toxicity than with the deficiency. Okay, so generally it has been observed that the a minor element required in small quantity. Okay, if it has present in higher than required quantity, it do adverse effect. Okay, so this is the point which you need to know. And another thing is that if there is a higher concentration of macronutrient is present, so it did not have a much adverse effect. Okay, so this is the difference between both of them. Okay, if there is plenty of macronutrient is present, and if we present in higher quantity as compared to the requirement, it did not have much adverse effect. If there is higher quantity of micronutrient is present, so definitely it toxic to the plants. Okay, growth and development, so it required in a particular limit. Okay, so the below the particular limit it also affect plant growth and development, and above the particular limit the micronutrient also affect the plant growth and development. Okay, so this is the point you have to understand. Okay, so any questions you can ask now. Josila, Shashi, Vijeta, Jyoti, Nabodit, any doubts, any question in this lecture, you can discuss now. Okay.